Hi, welcome back. It's Lionel Tech Lead and partner Westvault, and today I'm following up on a video I did about 3 months ago, which has been getting a lot of attention, which is, as a beginner, should I learn JavaScript or PHP first? A lot of you guys wrote comments, and I thought it would be a good idea actually to respond to some of those comments on the page. So on about JavaScript, and one of the best ones was this one by SMG. So I'm going to respond to this one. I think you guys would like a little bit more details. Here, SMG, he actually wrote 3 days ago, and I've been thinking about this command. First of all, no installation needed to run JavaScript apart from live server plugin on VS Code. Okay, so in order to do this, right, I've set up JavaScript and PHP on my LAMP server. You can set any kind of server you did, and I've put two of them over here. One of them is HTML and one of them is PHP. Now I've already tested and gone and done some our JavaScript, okay? And as you can see, right, there's nothing displayed there. Not only that, right, but I had to write a whole bunch of this code over here so that you can even see anything. So, like, you would have to understand what a tag is, you would have to understand the script tag and the body tag. Now, if you were running with PHP, right, you could start with this. You could just start just one tag like this and you're in PHP, and all you would have to do is go echo 1. And you would see it in PHP, right? In JavaScript, even after writing so much code out here, right, so many lines, nothing is appearing. And you may say, hey Lionel, that's not an issue, you know, you can just go on the VS Code and do plugins and set up stuff. You know, first of all, you're looking at setting up VS Code, which is not easy itself, and then you have to get a plugin for it. You could set the entire PHP of this using Notepad. Once you get set up the server, you can just set up with Notepad. So we're just talking about, as what the video is talking about, right? You want to get, a lot of you guys experienced developers, you already have this start up, so you know, you think it's very easy, but for absolute beginner, right, you don't even want to bother about what's a tag, you don't want to bother about what's you know, the meta tag, where to put the script, which part should you put it, and then how to make things appear. Whereas PHP, you can make things appear almost instantaneously with one command. I mean, you just compare the amount of lines of code to make this happen, right? So that's the first point about getting started, as it's much easier in PHP to get started. Now, the second point SMG made, right, is you don't have to define variables in JavaScript since it's dynamic type. And he is correct, it is dynamically typed. You can get right and write, say, variable. Now somebody did comment, right, that we should do a beginner series, and I think this is kind of a beginner series, right? So you're gonna go alert variable tree, and you're gonna make it pop out, right? You're gonna make it pop out over here. Appears over here, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. Now what has happened in there, right, is that JavaScript can't figure out whether you want to treat this as a string or you want to treat it as a number. So they defaulted into both treating it as strings. Now some of you guys might say, hey, you know, that's not going to happen, but I've seen this extremely happen most of the time through form inserts, and that's slightly more complicated than this video. So you have some sort of input and then you collected it and the user is treated as a string. The other thing that can happen, right, is that it's got all sorts of funny commands that you have to pass the thing, right? So I was just looking over here, and I think it's called pass int. So that will change it. So you need to know what a float is, you need to know what an int is, you need to know, okay. I've actually encountered this. So you just reload the thing and you see 2737. What happened over there? Basically, this is an integer, and you know, you have some weird behavior down there. Again, the video is meant for beginners. Maybe they don't know what a float is, maybe they don't know what a decimal is, what a conversion is, why do they have to use parseInt, why do you have to run alert. So when you switch over to PHP, much simpler over here. You can just add something up 5.5 and you can just do var3 equals var1 plus var2 and echo var3, and you will get a very forgiving 5.05. Very smart language to kind of figure out, whether you're going with integers or floats or decimals or whatever these things are. PHP is very forgiving over here. So we're just going to get rid of this. Maybe just give me a BR here. Now, does this cause a lot of confusion for the, you guys, the pro developers that will say, hey, you need to validate this stuff? I do agree, okay? Look, validations are like locking your car, You want to make it more difficult for you to get into your house. You make it more difficult by putting more locks. But we are trying to teach people how to do coding. So PHP is that issue. The other issue that did come out, right, and I'm going to show it over here, is displaying your error. So this is JavaScript, right? All you get is this 2.37 and that's it. And if you make an error in JavaScript, right, let's say we do something like this, just nothing happens. You just get this blank screen down there. You don't know what happened. It's very hard to debug. You have to go to console log. You have to start searching in. You can't see the code pop out. But in PHP, what I do like is the error reporting. So if we just put some dots and XX, right, we can actually get a pretty reasonable error display. Syntax error, XXX, expecting a dot on line 7. So if you're looking at that one, that's pretty not bad for reporting. So that's another benefit, making it much more easy for beginners to actually do their to figure out stuff. Because if you're a beginner, even this level of code, you're gonna make an error, you're gonna make mistakes for it. So that's one of the main things. The last one you get out of the box. So I'm just gonna give you an example. This is JavaScript, right? The final point that SMG did mention, right, is the amount of built-in functions that PHP has. And that is really good. If you type PHP array functions, right, you are going to see so many array functions in PHP because it's meant to make things easy. You have so many of these things in there. That is the array level. You want to shuffle it, you want to do an in array. So they don't prefer you like say Python, where they out of the box you have to do loops to go and achieve this kind of stuff. PHP out of the box has all these functions. JavaScript doesn't have this kind of stuff. I'm talking about front end, guys. Okay, I'm not talking Node.js. So if you look at JavaScript, if you want to deal with dates, right, you probably have to use moment.js. That will help you set up the thing. You have to run a CDN. You want to run out. This is a pretty good one that will actually replace the date functions. But PHP's got date PHP object that allows you to work with date time. It's very powerful. It does time zones. It does setting. It does formats. Does different kinds of formats. It's very powerful. And the other thing, it comes straight out of the box in PHP. So this point that SMG made about all the built-in functions out of the box is absolutely correct. That is 100% down there. So guys, I hope I've given you a little bit more insight into PHP, a couple of the 3 major areas that we covered today, how easy it is for a beginner to start in PHP. Number 2, how the dynamic types are actually much easier in PHP, more forgiving in PHP. Number 3, better error management, explaining the errors that come out of PHP versus JavaScript, where JavaScript's hidden, PHP is like explicit, stops the entire script. Very good. And the 4th one is all the stuff that comes out of the box in PHP, very powerful classes that are object oriented, whereas in JavaScript you have to either link to them, download them, put them into a package, access that. Wow. So that's a little bit more clarity in the beginning, and that's the bottom line because the tech lead said so.